Hey everyone, time for Geocache Talk. Whether at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, now Spotify. You can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music, which you can't hear on the live version, but if you're listening audio, you get to hear some music beforehand. And our patrons, Demon Hunter 2, Aggie Jedi Master, Electric Water Boy, Antaeus, Joshua the Geocaching Vlogger, Nick at Cashley, One Kind Word, Ravenclaw Tia, Butterfly Girl, Loon Trackers, the Aussie Geocacher, Sodak Zach, what do you know? There he is. The Deadliest Cachers, Terrell 2, Neil Moore, Molly the Geocaching Dog, Team D&D, Geocaching Adam, Peachy 1276, the No Code Geocachers, Curiosity Girl, Tick Magnet, Marsipanic, Ricker John, Fire Safe, FS Sabero, Geo Rick, Cache Addict Mel, Geocaching Janji. Well, what do you know? There she is. The Geocaching Junkie, Sir Drumalot, Janice, Tricassius, Tom Frey, Rugels, the Bruce Zero, EGK, PBR, Casamaya, Master Sergeant, USMC, Little Gears, Albedo 0.39, It's Only Barney, Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, Rock On ACDC Family, and our new patrons, None of It Tidy, AFK Geocaching, and Josh Boggs. If you'd like to become a patron, head over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins, other geocaching swag during the year, as well as invites to special events only for patrons. And once in a while, we send out only videos to the patrons as well. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. And we did one of those recently. I thought was pretty cool. We did, all four of us did video, put it all together, and sent it to our patrons. And that was kind of fun to do. So we'll do some more of those.
I think there's some more stuff coming up.
Yeah, we're going to do more of those. So, well, speaking of, let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening.
And the rest of the Geocache Talk Network is with us tonight for the first time ever. All four of us, the whole network is together. Sodak Zach.
Woohoo! That's me.
And look at that beautiful sky behind you, man. It's a gorgeous night.
I'm sorry. I had to at least try the beginning of the show outdoors here because I know I'm on the actual show and I can't be out in the field, but you can't keep me from being outside, at least for a little bit.
Absolutely. And Geocaching Janji's on the show as well.
Hi, happy to be here. Excited.
We're so glad you're here too. You know, Angie, our latest addition to the network, and she really has brought a lot. So we you know, Sodak Zach, but Angie, no, I'm kidding. Jesse and I are so grateful that you guys are part of the network, doing what you do best, and really well-rounding the network. Don't you think, Jesse?
Yeah, we've really kind of got the center of the country on lockdown now. We got us all the way up and down.
Yeah, it happened. We didn't go by geography. We went by who was the best and most qualified to be on, and so Zach and Angie were definitely the very top of the list. And so it just happens they're both in South Dakota. So, you know, rock on, South Dakota. Thanks so much for you know, being there for us and for you guys being part of the network. So,
and North Dakota.
Yes, and North Dakota. Sorry.
Yeah.
Get the Dakotas confused. Shame on you.
The Dakotas, all the Dakotas, North Dakota and South Dakota. But
send all
Darn
the
it, nation, we're so different. The Dakotas are so different.
That's right.
That's right.
No one realizes it, but
Yeah. All the Dakotan hate mail goes directly to Gary, not to the rest of us.
Right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I meant the Dakotas. I said South Dakota, thinking of Zach.
Well, it is the better Dakota, but
well,
at least for geocaching, I think you can agree with that. We have a lot more.
All right, then. You have a webcam. I'll give you
they're
that.
working on it.
Yeah.
They got a webcam. There you go.
They have 100% more webcams.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. We'll get past my faux pas and move on. Let's jump right into show 97. for May 6th as we discuss, do you know the way to Cincinnati? Do you guys don't even know that song, do you? Dionne Warwick?
No.
Jesse knows it.
Jesse will not sing it, but I don't think you said it right tonight.
Do you know the way to Cincinnati?
There you go.
I'm putting that. I'm going to put a snippet of that song at the beginning of the audio. By the way, I found Dionne Warwick's song. So, but it's "Do You Know the Way to San Jose?" So we're sort of stealing that for Cincinnati. So anyway,
that's okay. We can't afford the rights to it, so it's good that we're changing it a little bit.
Right. I put just a snippet. That way we don't get in any trouble. All right. Well, quick note for those viewing that are not in the chat room yet. We want you in the chat room. We really want you there. So if you'll notice on the front page of geocachetalk.com, there's a link. If you look down the page a little bit, there is, and Zach's showing something, by the way. You want to see that if you're in the chat room and if you're live.
It's only for the video, though.
Only for the video, folks. We got something going on here. In fact, I'll put it on you, Zach, there for a minute. So if you want to join the chat room and you're not quite sure because you're watching the show and you're like, where do I get the chat room? On the front page of Geocache Talk, down below the link to the video, you'll see a link to the chat room, and just join right there and let us know that you clicked there. And we're very excited to have you, the live people and the people that watch later as well. But the live people can get chat right there. So, all right, webcam watch, Jesse.
So the webcam watch, we're 114 in the U.S. I think we were down to 113 last week, so one got enabled.
Right.
278 in the world, which is the same as last week. Or one off, but we're down to 3 disabled instead of 5. So I think one of them disappeared. I'll have to see exactly which one it was, but we're still not below 114 in the U.S., so that's good.
That is good. And I've got an update, by the way, Jesse, we're going to talk about when we actually get into the different geocaches we're going to talk about tonight. And I've got a really important update for people to know about if they're traveling up that way from the south and they're coming up and getting through Martin, Tennessee. There's a really cool webcam. We're going to talk about that one in a minute.
Okay.
But on to virtual rewards.
So yesterday when we first started, or I first started updating the notes, it was at 1416. But this morning I checked and we're up to 1419 now. So they're starting to roll in now. 3 in one day. Still not many. We're still not at half yet, but 1419 out of 4,000. It's slowly starting to creep up there.
Yes. Do you want to read the email? If you go down to the users, the email section in the notes, if you want to read that email we got from next week's show guest, send us an email.
Let me see if I can get to it. I had to switch computers here at the last second.
Oh, that's okay. I can read it.
Geomonkey Tiger? Is that the one we're talking about?
Geomonkey Tiger. You got to say it right because it's got an exclamation point at the end.
Geomonkey Tiger.
Geomonkey Tiger.
Okay. Hi there. This is Geomonkey Tiger. I didn't say it right again. Geomonkey Tiger.
There you go.
I'm scheduled to be on your show on the 13th. I was listening to show 95. You asked about people that had a virtual reward but had not published, and for reasons why. I'm one of those people that have a virtual reward and just have not yet put it out. For the most part, the reason I haven't published it is twofold. 1, indecision on what kind of virtual cache to publish. And 2, trying to find the perfect spot. To elaborate on number 1, some of my favorite virtual caches have been multi-types. We have one here in Georgia that requires about 100 miles of driving. Wow, that's an extensive one. Part of me would very much like to do a virtual that involves visiting multiple stages, but part of me also knows that these types of caches do not get nearly as many visits as your more traditional virtual caches. You know, go here and snap in a picture, and that's all. Right. So part of my issue is deciding what kind of virtual I want. So number 2, to me, the perfect virtual is not only an interesting spot, but ideally a spot where a physical cache could not be placed. As an additional personal requirement, I really want this virtual in Georgia, where I live. There are many places that meet these criteria, but many already have a virtual Earth cache there. So I've really struggled to find that unique place. I'll have to get it figured out, though. I really want to take this unique opportunity to publish. Hope this helps your discussion. I like that. So that's pretty accurate, I think, for a lot of people, what they're thinking right now. The ones that have the virtuals,
Yeah, don't you think that's really a good? When I read that, I thought about you, and I thought, I'll bet you Jesse's going to think that's a really good way to put it.
Well, it is because I think some people rushed to get them out really quickly because they were excited. But the people that have waited this long now, I think they really want to do something really good. And there's some, not as many in the U.S., but overseas. I looked at them, and there's some that have a lot of favorite points on them.
Right.
Some of the new ones don't really have any favorite points, but some of them, and I haven't seen really that many in the U.S. that have a bunch, but I think there's one of the new ones that already has like 250 or 300 favorite points on it or something. Yeah. I think it was released around a giga or something like that. But which would probably be a good place if somebody has one.
Well,
giga.
Some of the places I think when we talked about, you've got something like the Alamo, which had a webcam, which is now disabled and archived.
Right.
So somebody immediately put one at the Alamo as far as virtual, and of course it worked out great because there wasn't anything there that was drawing people. I mean, good people go there anyway.
Some people want to see the Alamo too, but
people want to see the Alamo too. But I mean, come on, it's geocaching. You want to do both. So,
well, there was a webcam there too. I mean, not a webcam, a Where I Go there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there, but it was there for a while.
Yeah, Joshua did it there. So. Do you guys? I haven't looked lately. North Dakota, South Dakota. Do you guys have any new?
We got one from our reviewer, and he published that. Out West River. That was I think that was one where it was a pretty quick park and grab. Park and like snap a picture and grab the information off of there. But yeah, just as far as I know, he was the only one that got it because each state's reviewer got one.
Right.
For whatever their criteria was, didn't match anyone here in South Dakota. So,
yeah, that whole algorithm is kind of weird. Angie, what about?
I know there's a few that haven't placed theirs yet, and I know it's what the email said too. They're looking for a place where a traditional couldn't be, or a physical container. So,
right, well, that's
pretty
cool.
soon.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, I sent did I send a note? I was going to send a note to Rock Chalk and see if they're really going to do a hard and fast on that, or if they're going to try to go, if they're going to be leaning or not. He probably doesn't know yet, but I might try to ask him on that. But all right, good deal. Good update there, Jesse. All right, so geocaching turned 18 this week, so it is legal in all states to geocache. I'm just kidding, but it's 18. It's an adult now. Is that bad? Everybody's shaking their head.
That was not a good one.
Okay. It turned 18, whatever you want to call it. So I have a question for each of you guys. Do you think that after 18 years, it is where you thought it would be if I'd have said when you first started, when it turns 18 years of geocaching, is this what you imagined, or did you imagine less, or did you imagine more, or did you imagine something different?
That's a hard question. We'd have to really quantify it to know what the difference is, right? But for me, it's only been 7 years. So 2011, July, almost 7 years.
Right.
So I can only really speak to that part of it, but I think it's changed. I haven't seen a huge change in the 7 years that I've been doing it.
Right.
I've changed in my style, but I don't think the game has changed tons since then. There hasn't, I've only been here at the end of it, but there's pretty much all the same stuff as there was. There's some promotions that came and went, but I think I've changed more than I've seen the game change.
Yeah.
But there's lots of people doing it. I think it's hard for me to know because you can't unknow geocaching, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if people are as oblivious to it as I was before I started. I think it's more popular now because of some of the other games that have happened.
Yeah.
And bomb scares, right? So I think it's more in the mainstream now.
Let's go over to Angie. You've been in a little while now. But when you thought about geocaching turning 18, did you imagine what we have now, or did you imagine that it would be somewhat different?
I guess I'm just surprised there's not more people who know about it in general. Like when you're out and about and people look at you weird, it's like there's Pokemon Go, there's other things, and
right.
I'm surprised it's not catching on faster, I guess. But I don't know if that would make the game better either, if everyone knew what it was about.
That's a good way to put it. I don't know. I agree with you.
Take some of the fun out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if everybody knew about it, I think it would take some of the fun.
But still I like how we have a close-knit community, and I think I'd agree I've changed a lot the way that I viewed it. I was afraid to go to events, and those are like pretty cool to go to. I mean, that's what the show's about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What, we're talking about events? There's an event coming up?
Events?
It's a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal.
Thanks to Jesse, I'm one of those guys that like at least every 2 weeks. I'm not to every week yet, but every 2 weeks I try to host an event. But cool. Eric here in town, he's also that, and so it's pretty. It's getting pretty close to almost every week there's an event, so it's kind of nice in our small community. But kind of.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, on the what are you on?
Turning
18.
Turning 18.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, so I've been in now. Actually, the day it turned 18, I realized I must have joined geocaching on its birthday because it was also all of a sudden my account went black, and I'm like, what happened? And it was like renew your membership, and I'm like,
oh, dang it, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll do that. And then, but I would say geocaching it's more than I expected in some ways, and the ways that it's actually more are because of the third-party developers like Cashly. Like the amount of stuff that he can do there that Nick's built, and that is amazing. And from what I hear, CGO's fast ramping up to be a really good Android option as well. And so I think some of these third-party apps are great. Obviously, in the last year, I think the company under new leadership and everything is really starting to do things, and I feel like every year they might try something big, like they did the virtual rewards, and they did the bringing back challenge caches to make it easier. And I completely understand wanting to make it easier on the reviewers, but honestly, I think it's not too long before we see another cache icon out there at some point, at least tried, even if it's just for a limited time. They got a 20-year coming up. I can't imagine they wouldn't try. Like they did the Lost and Found 10-year event. Maybe they just say every 10 years we'll bring it back, and but just I think there's room for growth on their end, but I think they're starting to head in the right direction, and I hope that they focus more on long-lasting things rather than just necessarily promotions. I think the Friend League's cool. That's a decent addition, and it gives them a lot of recurring things that they can do with different challenges.
Right.
But if they could really do something that kind of adds to the game in the long run, like a new icon or a new, just something new in the game, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be associated with fines. Maybe there's something like challenge points or something that tracks how well you do. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see something a little different. Other than, I mean, I like I like some of the direction they're going, but I'd like to see. I definitely like to see a new icon. Jesse,
wouldn't we all?
I know.
Yeah, I would like to see them end the evaluating period for the challenge caches. I'd love to see that as a new icon, but if they had another idea too for a new icon, that'd be great because it really just opens up the game to more stuff.
History
That's
caches.
one of my favorite parts is all the different types of it.
Zach.
History cache.
History caches. Yep.
I think they put the kibosh on that when they brought virtuals back for a little while, right?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Well, even if they brought that back for good, maybe that's a perk for premium members, where when you have a premium account, we'll open it up to everyone with a premium account gets one.
Cool idea.
And the people might say, well, then people will create many premium accounts, and it's like, yeah, and guess who makes a bunch of money off of that?
Right. Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, keep the revenue flowing for them.
You really showed geocaching.
Yeah,
we've mentioned it before too, but what would you pay right now if they offered you to own your own webcam?
Oh, webcam. I would pay in my area just because we have one at Falls Park, where it's this beautiful park and it's like a 1080p 4K like webcam, like beautiful. And actually Eric hid one that was a traditional that just has a link to it that you can optional snap a photo. But I would say even if they put it at $500, I would probably reach out to everyone in the community and say, look, we need a webcam.
Right.
We need this. I would pay a ridiculous sum. And
I think that's realistic, though.
Get a GoFundMe page going.
$10,000, right, for a Geo tour?
Yep.
Yeah,
Think about a tourism place doing.
Yeah.
They could raise $1,000 to add that to a Geo tour, a webcam cache. People would be all over that.
Yep.
And it would limit it because people wouldn't waste it on stupid ones.
Yeah.
And and if they did, whatever, they made a bunch of money off of it. But yeah.
Plus, it'd be something exciting, right? And special still. That would keep them special, but.
Yep, and it wouldn't bump up the numbers too terribly much, I don't think.
No.
All right, we're moving on. We got some other stuff to talk about. Sorry,
no,
I don't think you guys off. That's a whole other show. Yeah, I kind of did.
See, I think he's skirting around the question. You've been in the game the longest, haven't you?
What else you guys? Yeah, 06.
Oh yeah, then you have. You saw the advent or the addition of cell phones, and you've really seen it change.
I put a bunch of paper in my recycling bin today, and it was all these caches that I'd kept. I don't know why I kept them, but funny. It was like, I know it's all paper. Back in the day, it was paper, but I don't know. I 18 years old. I thought that. I mean, I'm kind of like you, Jesse. I might have changed maybe a little bit of how I do it, but really, even for Susan and I, we do it a little different just because of time and different things like that. But I think that while I'm very happy with it, I'd like to see some more. I want to see more things, but I think by this point I thought we'd see a little bit more. But I'm not really overall. I'm pretty happy with the way geocaching is going. So.
Oddly enough, I would say I'd rather them go slow than do what they did with that original or that challenge thing they had before. Not challenges, but whatever that challenge thing they had before that disappeared and they took them all off the profiles and everything. I'd rather them go slow and get into it than take something else off. No,
I agree. All right, we got an email from Dune Buddy. Says you answered one of my questions on podcasting, which is, if podcast hosts know where people are when they download their shows. And this is he sent us a note and he says, greetings from Uzbekistan. So Dune Buddy does a lot of traveling, and I was like, oh, we talked about Uzbekistan last week, and who's downloading the show from Uzbekistan? And it's Dune Buddy, so it makes perfect sense. So he says, enjoy the shows. Congratulations on almost 100 shows. So thanks, Dune Buddy, for sending in your note to us. Got an email. Greetings. I enjoy this. This is from Nancy, from the Deadliest Cachers. She says, I enjoyed the show last week with Geo Paul, especially the part about the Sidetracked series. I have heard about these series last year and on another show. And after investigating it, I discovered that 99% of the hides in the series are located in Europe. That being said, I decided to release a few of them in my area. So she gave us a list. They'll be in the show notes. She's got 3 of them in the New York State that are Sidetrack series. They're in the near the depots, and so she put out a challenge to everyone listening to the show. She said she encourages everyone to pass the word on, and she encourages everybody to do the following, which is to place at least one Sidetracked series geocache within the next 3 months. So if you happen to put out a Sidetracked cache during that period of time, let us know, and we'll make a note of that and talk about that on the show. So that's from Nancy. And she said maybe Jesse could track it. So good stuff.
Very cool.
Very cool. We got another.
Hey, Gary.
Yes,
we
sir.
sorry, in the chat room. They got a drinking game going for every time we say, but that's a story for another show.
Another show, yeah.
We're almost 100 episodes in, and we still got so much to talk about.
We do. We got a lot to talk about.
It's such a good show.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. You're very much part of this too. So, so I'm not going to say it again. See, you're just going to have to drink on your own because I'm not going to. No, we probably somebody will mention it, I'm sure. But all right, we got another email from John Korgsgat, and I always mess up names, so I'm sorry, John Korgsgat. He says, I've been listening to the last show and logging some of my finds from my last trip. Just needed to let you know that trips can be planned in several ways. Very true. Of course, the county run was super Nate, needing some planning, but I think he has been able to plan that trip at a lot more geocache efficient way using some of the tools he mentioned. He wanted to bring out a tool that he uses, and again, it'll be in the show notes. But he has one called cachetur.no. It's obviously, I guess it's Norway. I'm going to put it in the chat room for people to go take a look at right now. He used it. Listen to this. Listen to the stats he did. He did it in Denmark. He got all 5 states in Denmark. But he used it 6 days, nearly 17 hours for this trip, and I got 17 unknown, 29 multi-caches, 2 webcam caches, 2 letterbox hybrids, 5 where I goes, Jesse.
Nice.
7 earth caches, 7 virtuals, 1 event, 2 CETOs or CITOs, depending on how you say it, and 172 traditionals. And I'm about to put the note in the chat room right now. I'm very sorry I didn't put it in a second ago. But there you go. It's cachetur.no. Kendall mentioned Stacy caches in England at train stops. Very cool. Yeah, Zach is on the move. Ryan pointed out, yeah, Zach's moving indoors. So anyway. So that's the note. Thank you so much from Korgsgat, Norwegian geocacher. And we really do appreciate that. All right, let's get into the show now. Thanks for all the emails. Appreciate all that. It really helps when we know people are in different parts of the world listening. I think last week, didn't we just we had a person on from Sweden live in the chat room, so that was really kind of cool.
Somebody said we have 4 people from North Dakota in the chat room tonight. Just throwing a little fuel on the North Dakota, South Dakota fire there.
I love it.
I think
I don't know how many
winning,
South Dakota people we have in there tonight. So
we have 5 South Dakota people in here.
Of course we do. One more.
He's just throwing that out there. Angie, did you want to mention the Instagram winner, or did you want to mention it tonight?
Yeah, we can mention it tonight, and then we can post it tomorrow. But Gary had a Cache Saber Geocoin to celebrate May the 4th. I
have it right here too.
Yeah.
Let me show it. Make sure I'm not. I think I can show this.
Yeah, it's a green one, right?
Yeah, I got the green version of it right here.
Does it glow in the dark too?
I don't know. It
looks cool.
Isn't it cool? I love it. This was provided by us by IB Geocaching, by the way.
Oh,
so
bonus.
Thank you, IB Geocaching.
And we had a winner. We had a lot of entrants, but Geo_Spike will be the winner.
Woohoo!
Very cool. Yeah. Congratulations.
Congrats.
That is a cool coin too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cool. And so much appreciative, Angie, for you running that. And very cool. Angie suggested we do these on Instagram, and wow, we have had a huge spike in our followers on Instagram. I mean, it's gone way up. We're over 600, and what did I send you guys? Is something way up there now.
We're around 650 now.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's crazy,
especially from what we started with. I mean, we were so great suggestion, Angie, that we did that. Really appreciate that. And then another update, because we were talking about doing Instagram, and Angie's been very helpful getting us working on that and getting us to post and all that good stuff. But also, of course, Angie is our manager of the blogs. So do you have an update for us on the blogs?
Yeah, so we had a new blog post this last Friday. We do the first Friday of every month. And Geocacher Ken sent one in, and he's a Canadian from Manitoba, and he talked about his planetary pursuit.
Cool.
So it's a good read, how he planned everything out, and he went with a couple other geocachers, like Hakliva. I've never said that out loud, but
yeah,
she's a blogger. A lot of people know about her. And
yep.
It was a good story that he told.
It was awesome.
And I think, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I think that planetary pursuit was pretty well received by everybody. I think everybody pretty much liked it, and a lot of people jumped out there and did it too.
Yeah, I think it was a success. So, very cool. And then, Jesse, you're adding something to our website.
So, add another tab under our resources. So that's where we have the resolutions, and we have the new virtuals. A link to that. So I added, because we talk about, especially Zach and I, we don't shut up about it, but we talk about challenges a lot, and I know we don't go over them all the time, but I'm going to start adding the major challenges on there. So even if you haven't signed one in your area or you haven't been there, but all the major Jasmer, Fizzy, 366, there's going to be a checker on that page there. So as you're going through them, you can just kind of keep, even if you don't have one nearby that you're working on, but you want to start working on it, you can just check into that page and kind of see your progress on those. And we'll add more. There's only a few on there right now, but I'll add a lot more. And there's a short explanation of each one in case it's not one you've been working on yet and you want to check on it real quick. So I'll add more and more with those. But the challenges for some people is what they're really into. And so now we have a resource page right there for it. And if people send in, they're like, hey, here's a really good one that people may be interested in, we'll add that on there too.
Oh, very cool. Excellent. And then we have a shout out. I think that's probably Angie's shout out.
Yeah, I had to just say, Tick Magnet, today at my event, he got 5,000. His 5,000 find.
That's awesome.
He's in the chat room, so.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So he had your event be number 5,000.
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to do that either. So
that's pretty cool.
That Dairy Queen, so even had a treat to go with it.
That's very cool. So that's 2 of the 4 of us. He's shown up at events now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, he showed up at one of yours, didn't he? Yeah,
that's right.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, he's got to make it down to one of mine. That's not too much further, right?
That's right.
We hosted an event in just across the border in North Dakota to try to, ease relations as North and South Korea were doing that. So
good. Is there a DMZ right there? So.
Yeah, right at it's the DMZ. There's a casino, but.
Oh yeah! Wow, I didn't think about. So can you not gamble in North Dakota?
Well, I think South Dakota, it's, I don't know. I think it's something like only on reservations for the large casinos. Like we have casinos, but they have to be a certain square footage or less if they're anywhere. And so the big casinos just go right on the edge of wherever they.
Oh, right. To get people coming across. I got you.
So, yeah.
All right. We're going to get now into the other meat of the show.
34 minutes in.
I know. It's all good stuff, though. I told you it's going to be a lot, but we're going to get into the big stuff now. So, do you know the way to Cincinnati? So we're going to talk about different routes or different caches that we might even find along the same route, but kind of some things that might spur everyone on. Again, it's really show note heavy. We're not going to talk about every single one of them, but we do suggest right after the show, I'm going to post this in our show notes on the webpage. So if you miss any, you don't have to write them down. You can always go there. They're all linked. So, please go there and check it out. What are you going to say, Jesse?
Yeah, there's a little sidetrack thing in the chat room. We want to have that person go away for a little while.
Oh,
we'll be nice in case they were just joking.
Oh, okay.
We'll just move past that. Let it scroll away.
I like Ken.
Zach addressed it well, though.
I like Kendall saying in relation to the North and South Korea, North and South Dakota relation, Kim Jong-soo and Kim Jong-kro.
Okay. All right. Let's bloop. Okay. We're gonna take it now. I don't think they understand what geocaching is. I think they have a different idea about this chat. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Those emojis are kind of off there. I don't know how to do that.
Well, the name is Mr. Bum, so
yeah, do you know how to do that?
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting rid of him.
Okay. Yeah, we want to keep this as family friendly as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That looked like it was going down a wrong emoji path. So.
Yep.
I think he just likes vegetables.
He's out. All right. So.
Okay.
One of the things we're never going to do this again, Jesse. I tell you right now, we're just going to keep everybody out, but because it gets way too out of whack.
They had a creative emoji in there, so
yeah, that's okay.
All right, so getting back on track.
So one of the things that you might want to do is look for. There's a couple different things that are sort of givens. I think, and I think everybody would agree with this is that oldest cache. Obviously, well, let me step back. If you don't have a state, definitely find a cache for that state. I know a physical cache, yeah, because because there's a couple states that we're going to pick up. I don't know, Zach. Do you have a couple states you're going to try that you don't have yet?
Yeah, I think that would be Indiana, Ohio, and then Kentucky. And boy, if we really have time open, I might be able to swing to Tennessee, but it's going to be tight already. So
yeah, but at least you can get a few states. And we're going to get Illinois, and of course we'll get Ohio. Mm-hmm. We have some of those other ones, and we don't have a Tennessee, by the way, which we're going to talk about Tennessee caches here in a moment. Jasmer, obviously, I've got a link in the show notes because each person's different, but you'll want to take some time. Go to Project GC, use the Jasmer tool, which is hidden it's cache hidden in a certain month. And so again, I got the link. You can go in there and you can do, and it'll show you all the months that you're missing and any caches that fulfill that. I have a couple that I found, that are in there, that I don't have. I don't have July of 2001. And I don't have January of 2001, so I've got a couple caches that are potential for me, but everybody's Jasmer is different. But definitely use the Jasmer tool. See if you can find some along the route for yourself. And so
that funny the one of those that you have mentioned in there, LPS 001.
Mm-hmm.
That's right down the street from the house that I lived in when I first heard about geocaching.
That's awesome.
But I didn't get it.
Oh, you never got it. That's okay.
I came back later and got it, but
yeah, all right.
I was that close. That could have been like my first one.
Yeah, GC 132, sort of obviously a very small number, GC 132. So,
mm-hmm.
All right. So our plan tonight for the rest of the night is to go through and give. I don't know how I got at the top, but it wasn't planned that way. But I'm going to give a grouping of caches that. And again, we don't have time to go through all of them. I'm going to give you a few, and then we'll go through each person, and we'll kind of give maybe strategy, and also some caches we really want to kind of not miss. Obviously, and I think Angie's going to talk about a cool strategy. So Angie, I'm not going to talk about what I think you're going to talk about here in a minute. So I'm going to skip that. But one of the things I want to mention are. This one cache really sounds kind of cool. It's called, it's a virtual cache. It's called Drove It Into the Ground. It's GC Container 41 Altoid, in case you're playing along at home. But it's a virtual, and it reminds me of Cadillac Ranch. If anybody's ever been out in Amarillo and seen the Cadillacs that are driven into the ground, that's kind of what this cache is. It's a virtual cache, but you can get out there and somebody has buried these cars in the ground, and so I don't know. It's kind of cool.
That makes for great pictures. That's a good place for virtual. Those little roadside stops are awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, another one I want to mention, and it's
when you're done finding that, will you be tired?
Yes.
That was quite fun.
Oh, starting straight with the cheesy ones.
Why? Because I drew.
Because they're Gouda.
Oh, they're Gouda. Oh, okay, gotcha. They are. There is a Gouda one. It is a Gouda one. All right. So another one I'm doing, or we're planning to do, which is it's sort of a trifecta, which I think is kind of cool if you can do this, but it is on the low. It's just barely in Illinois. But it's at Fort Defiance, if anybody's familiar with this area. It's at the very tip of Illinois, the southern tip. And there's 3 caches at least in that little spot there. I think there's some caches nearby, but there's a virtual, there's an earth cache, Jesse, and there's actually 2 virtuals and an earth cache. So kind of that's our plan, is to get to that spot and get us those 3. Ohio and Mississippi River Confluence Earth Cache, a virtual cache called Fort Defiance, Confluence of America, and one called Illinois Low Point. And I think Illinois Low Point, I'll bring that one up. But Illinois Low Point, GC1 Altoid 36 Fizzy is the GC on that one. But it's an Earth cache too, so it's another Earth cache. So that's kind of cool.
So you picking those because it's those in that area and they're all ones you wanted to hit, or how did you select those?
Yeah, I kind of wanted, since we were kind of taking a little bit of a detour and going through Illinois to go to Louisville. So we're coming through Arkansas, through Memphis, and we'll talk about Memphis caches here in a second. But then we're going to, instead of going one direction to Cincinnati, which would take us further east and then north, we're going to go a little more west and then up through Louisville, but we're going through Illinois to catch some Illinois caches. So that's kind of how that happened. And it just kind of looked cool to catch those 3 are all right together. So as long as it's the river levels aren't so high that they block the road. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. So a couple other caches that I want to mention. When we're in Memphis, we definitely want to find one. It's GC9 container Bison. And it is a virtual cache. It's called the Grotto.
Awesome.
And Jesse's been to the Grotto. So why don't you talk about the Grotto real quick?
So I would rank this in easily in the top 10 caches I've ever done. And it's not hard to do. It's not a high terrain or anything like that. You know, you just walk up to it. But I think we've talked about it on the show before. But
we did a little bit. Yeah.
It's and again, I'm from Memphis originally, so this was right down the street. I never even, all these years until I went back, I didn't get it. But it's in a cemetery, and this, you can read a lot about it on the cache page. But it's this huge tribute to this guy's wife that he made. And it's mostly underground, and it's amazing. It's because you can't see it. You walk up from the outside, it looks like a normal. I mean, it's big, right? But this big petrified tree statue, and you think, oh, this is neat. This guy made this for his wife. And you can actually go in it and then go down, and you're underground, and there's these crystals and everything and statues, and it's the coolest. It's one of the top 10, maybe even top 5 coolest caches I've ever been to. You definitely need to go to that. If you're anywhere near Memphis, that's definitely the best one in the area that I've done anyway. So
right,
it's awesome. Coolest virtual. That is why virtuals should exist right
Absolutely. There. Yep.
Not that they all need to be in cemeteries or anything, but it takes you to a spot and you can be respectful about it and everything. But he did it so people would come there. There's a reflecting pool and stuff. That one's awesome. That's absolutely should be on everybody's list if they're going anywhere through Memphis at all.
Yep, absolutely. The Grotto is located in the Memorial Park Funeral Home and Cemetery in Memphis, Tennessee. Grotto Cavern is constructed of rock, quartz crystal, and semi-precious stones. In 1938, construction of the Crystal Shrine Grotto began. The grotto is 60 foot deep, hand-built cave in a hillside near the center of the cemetery, filled with 5 tons of quartz crystal, hence the name Crystal Shrine Grotto. So it's right here in the book, in case you're wondering.
What book?
Oh, it's the 201 Geocache.
You should be able to pick up some of those on the.
Yeah, you pick one up at
Cincinnati.
you should be able to find some 201s, So pick up a book, or if you want to, come find me, and I have one. I'll have some at the Gigastock. So
if they ask super nice, you probably even sign it for them.
Right. What were you saying, Zach?
It might be about time to update the book or something.
Yeah, I know. About time. Well, I'm working on it.
You have some people to choose from to write the forward.
There you go.
There I go. Yeah.
I'd be really interested. I think we've asked this before, but for that book, for everybody that has access to it, and I think there's a bookmark list out there too, right? But I'd be really interested to know what kind of progress people have made on it. How far through the list people have gotten. I know Land Monkey's really working on it.
Land Monkey and Joshua Geocaching Vloggers, really, he's pretty fired up about getting in all the...
Oh, no, it's Joshua that's working on it. That's right, not Land Monkey.
Yeah, I've worked through it pretty decently.
Zach's done pretty good.
Yep. We might need to put a little leaderboard on Geocache Talk.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
I like that.
Put the book on there, and put a leaderboard below, and just have a bunch of pictures for people finding the caches, maybe.
So somebody asked about the bookmark. There is a bookmark list, right, Gary?
I never actually created a complete bookmark list because I still wanted to make a couple bucks off the book.
So some of them are in there.
Some of them are in there, yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. You don't want to,
I don't want to post the whole thing because that's kind of the whole purpose of getting the not the whole.
Absolutely.
Purpose,
but you did want like 20 or 25 of them or something like that,
Yeah. Yep, definitely. So, but yeah, if you're interested in a certain aspect of it, let me know. And book's cheap. It's $10 or something. So I mean,
hey, Memphis, I know there's a certain one like ET001 or something.
I think somebody from the show might be going. A couple people from the show may be going to get that one later this year.
Yeah, that'd be Man, wish I was on that trip.
That'd be great if somebody from the show actually did ET Highway. That'd be really cool. But
what?
Yeah, I tell you. All right, one more.
We might be able to set a record for most finds on the show.
I guarantee that.
We'll check in every 100 finds or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Just have a muted stream running, and then we can just have a counter.
That's right.
Exactly. All right, one last one, and I get off of mine. Move on to somebody else. So this is GC Nature Kayak X-File 4. It's a webcam cache. It's on UT Martin's campus. And Kendall Tabor, might be in the. I don't know if he's in the chat room tonight. Maybe, I don't know. He's usually sometimes hanging around in the chat room. But he sent me some notes on this one because I thought it was really cool that he did that for us before the show because it's a webcam and it's got some issues. So Jesse, here's a webcam with issues.
I've done this one.
Have you done this one? Oh, cool. Yeah. So he went back and forth discussing with them what people can do because a lot of people are going to be coming through Memphis on their way to Cincinnati. So he asked them about it, and they have some suggestions. And so here's what he found out. He said, after some research, we decided the building in the background is the library on the campus of the University of Tennessee at Martin. The coordinates should be, here are the coordinates, and again, they'll be in the show notes, but it's N3620.453. That's the north. The west is 088 51.914. And they suggested only use this location if the original camera is still broken per the CO. He's generously keeping the webcam active and allowing the alternate camera as backup. So if you go through there and you can't get the original webcam working, they're allowing for this alternate camera to be used for the hides until he can get the other camera active.
Yeah, the camera was up and running when I was there back in January.
Okay. And Zach had a question.
Gary.
Yes.
I think that this isn't as the cache was originally intended.
Yes,
I think we need to archive a webcam.
Shame.
Well, that's your prerogative to say, and I think
we're lucky that the reviewer in that area is working with him.
Yeah.
To not, because a lot of them will jump on it, and they're pretty strict about it. But he's offering a different webcam instead of people taking a selfie there, right? So
yes.
My, what a cheater.
Well, I tell you. Yeah.
I will point out that mine was taken with the webcam, not with a selfie. So
there you go. But that's for another show. Everybody drink something.
Uh-oh.
Have coffee.
Around for everybody.
I actually like this.
That's for another show, but we do need to discuss that sometime, Jesse, because some reviewers are really, and this is something I think geocaching.com probably, I don't know if they need to address it, but are we going to try our best to keep webcams active, or do we not care, and we're just going to sort of, or do they want them all archived so they can move on and forget that these ever occurred? Or are they kind of like, cache, locationless caches? In my opinion, it's just my opinion, but I think they wanted that thing to go away. They really wanted locationless caches.
I believe those were a pain in the.
Probably so.
This is a family-friendly show, so I'm going to finish that. But it was a pain for reviewers.
Emoji.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to get an emoji war again.
Right.
I could imagine that would be a pain, right? And mess people's stats up and all kinds of stuff.
Probably so. But webcams, I don't think are as big of an issue. So hopefully they'll keep webcams around.
I haven't heard a bunch of complaints about webcams other than,
selfie ones, the selfie people.
Well, again, for another show. But
for another show.
Just for the chat room, for another show again.
All right.
I hope they're not going away like that, though.
I'm with you.
But I always like to say this because I know my reviewers. I would never do that job. That is horrible. Those people are glutton for punishment for doing that. I'm glad they do it because we get caches out there.
Yep.
There's no way. So.
Yep. I've got plenty more. So again, check the show notes. I've got some other virtuals that Susan and I are going to try to hit. There's another webcam cache that we want to try to do as well. Some earth caches. And these are on the route, so you kind of have to do it. You kind of have to make your own plan, but we're trying to help everybody out by suggesting some. So, Jesse, what's going to be on your route?
So, if I drop out the oldest caches, because that was on mine, I did do the Google Maps too, and even if I didn't stop for caches, and if I was driving from here, it'd be 18 and a half hours and about 1,300 miles.
Right.
But obviously you wouldn't drive straight through would be the point of that, right? You got a cache along the way.
Yeah, you got to.
So I looked at some, and I'll take out the webcams from my list and the oldest caches because we'd all kind of get those. People may laugh at this, but one of the first ones on my list would be actually an earth cache. There's
Wait. Say that again.
So I know, but it's a 5.5 earth cache. So
let me get that on audio. Make sure I get the audio.
It's an actual great one. So there's a 5.5 earth cache. It's GC22. Whoops.
Yeah,
I gotta look at the letters.
Is it Yuma?
Yeah, Yuma.
I didn't look.
Whoops, 58. Okay. I've never been to Yuma, so I'll cut myself some slack for that one.
That's good.
But it's a 5.5 one, so I would definitely be trying to swing by and get that. And then there's a letterbox along the way that's also a 5.5, and it's a really cool. There's some puzzles and stuff on it, but I've got that on the list. It'll be in the show notes as well. And there's another 5.5 that's traditional. That's kind of like one that I saw on Instagram today at somebody's event where you had to have a ladder and climb to get to it.
Very cool.
Those were kind of neat ones I saw along the way, but I found one that was really cool that I'll just highlight that one. It's a challenge, and every time I say I'm never going to do something again in geocaching, I find a challenge. It's like, okay, maybe I will do it again. So it's GC 4 Mega.
Multi
392. It's a challenge, and it's an older challenge. I don't think they'd let it publish now.
Right.
But it's it's the greater than 2-2 streak challenge. So
Okay,
this
what's
intrigued
that
me.
about? Mm-hmm.
You got to get a cache 31 days in a row. That's enough for a challenge right there, right?
Right.
But for this one, all of those caches have to be more than a 2-2 difficulty.
Oh, interesting.
So that is sweet. That would take some serious planning. But if I was driving anywhere close to that one, I would absolutely sign that challenge, and then just plan it until I could find 31 days
Right.
worth of them to get it. But I think that would be
That's a cool idea.
yeah, that's awesome. I already looked. I tried to start looking at it already, even though this is an imaginary list for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
I don't know how I would get it done.
So it had to be a 2.5 minimum
Minimum.
because it has to be greater than 2.2.
Yep.
Oh wow, 2.5.
And it's got a great write up on that page. But I would love to do it. That's the kind of challenges that I would drive way out of my way to do. Those are a lot of fun.
And it's got to be 31 days in a row.
31 days in a row. So that's
31 days of 5 5s. How awesome does that must sound?
I would have to travel a long way to do that.
It sounds great, Zach, till you think
That would
about
be
how
awesome.
far you got to go.
I would love that so much. I'd have to just like live on the road because I don't think that would work.
Because you
And
got
you
most
get to
of
like
the
day 30 and then not get it.
I see
Oh,
a car
no,
in the background.
What's that?
I see a car in the background if you want to live on the road.
Right, yeah.
No kidding. So kind of instead of highlighting a bunch of the caches, I thought I'd talk about just kind of my general strategy, what I would do. Mine's imaginary anyway, and it'd take me like a week to get there if I'm going to get all these anyway.
That's okay.
But webcams, virtuals, even earth caches. If I'm driving along the way and there's some of those easy ones that I normally hate, I got to get to my 100. So those have got to go on the list, even though, reading off a sign is no fun, but I would do it anyway. And then counties, I'd be trying to hit as many counties. Since I'm imaginary, I'm just going to do whatever I want. So I hit as many counties as I could. And Jasmers, of course. I want to get that double Jasmer out of the way. And any challenges along the way that I could sign and work on for the next however long I'm in the game.
Yeah.
And this one, people are probably going to laugh and go, that's stupid. Why would you waste your time? But benchmarks. When I go on a long trip like that, I like to hit benchmarks along the way just to break everything up. So I don't know. Nobody does anything with benchmarks and nobody cares about them. But I still
don't know. We're actually doing a show on benchmarks here soon. Let me see what date
am I
gonna
have to be your man at the benchmark or something?
Yes.
Oh, nobody's found a benchmark live on a podcast. I know that for sure.
Boom. Okay, I'm in. First time.
Okay.
Zach's in now.
You'll be man at the benchmark. By the way, benchmark show
that
is
I would,
June 17th. Benchmarks with the benchmark blasters.
Oh,
so.
Assuming that it would take me a few days, I would probably host some events along the way and get to meet some people on the way till they got to the big event.
That's a good idea.
So that would be kind of my strategy. That's what I would be going for, kind of along the way, because you can't get every cache between here and there, but those are the ones that meet all the goals that I have coming up for the next. I just blew Zach's mind. What? You can't get every cache?
You can try though, and I think Zach's going to try. So, Zach,
I'll get to Giga in August.
Yeah, exactly.
Be better by the next one.
No, there's a time limit on that one, buddy. So give us your highlights.
Yeah. So.
Because you have a lot of notes.
Yep.
And they'll be in the show notes, but I know you can kind of give us
yeah, so obviously
hit the highlights. Yes, sir.
I'll send my computers. There we go. All right.
Okay.
So highlights are counties to and from Giga. My biggest goal is I just want to have like a connected route to and from there.
Right.
Part of that helps if I ever end up doing that like ocean to ocean challenge. That's like one of the holy grails of geocaching. Obviously, the oldest ones, I want the oldest ones in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, maybe a couple more. Basically, I started with my list prioritizing Jasmer dates, especially those first two 2 years, 2000 and 2001. And then looking for anything to help not just my first Jasmer. I have 4 months left to get. So I think I get 2 on this trip.
Cool.
And if I get those, then just even getting my double, triple, and quadruple loops just filled out it never hurts. And anytime you can get those old caches, it's great.
Absolutely.
Obviously, all webcams on the route. I think I have 3, maybe 4 webcams.
Cool.
Closest virtuals to the route. So I will try and get, even if they're new and don't have many favorite points, but we'll kind of prioritize and pick and choose what we have time for. But now we're starting to get into those ones that we kind of, if time's getting crunch, we can bypass them. I have over 100 virtuals already, so I'm not building towards a challenge. And then I also I filtered 500 plus favorite points and then went along my route. You'd hate to all of a sudden find out that, it wasn't a Jasmer or a virtual, but man, there was a cool gadget cache right off our route. So
absolutely.
And actually one of the cooler things of the trip, I'll be road tripping with one of our patrons, EJKPBR, Eric.
Yep.
He's in the chat room. One of the cooler non-geocaching bucket list items that I've heard of someone having. He really loves baseball. I like baseball as well. He wants to, in his lifetime, he thinks it'd be really cool to attend a game in every ballpark.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, we're actually going to get to a White Sox game in there. And you can bet I will, just like with the Super Bowl, I'll be bringing Geocache Talk into the game as well and sharing pictures there. Yeah. And then in Cincinnati, basically we had the Donut Trail, the lab caches, sign all of the challenge caches. And then outside of that, it's just like fizzy combos, Jasmer, all the things that I mentioned that are on our route. We will be driving past, on our way back, we'll be driving past Peoria, where my infamous Nemesis cache is. And
everybody's Nemesis cache.
Yes, and I can assure you, I might give it a certain type of salute as I drive by and maybe some choice words, but I probably will not be stopping for that because our secondary end of the trip goal is, as we're coming across Iowa, we have like the whole bottom 2 rows of counties that we're just going to try to knock out because they're in rural Iowa.
Oh, cool. Great idea.
Yeah, so if we can get those, then all of the counties in Iowa that we have left are like within like a Saturday's driving distance to go get. So,
Great
helping
idea.
us complete that challenge. So that's pretty much all I had. If Angie wants to take the reins next.
Yep. Angie, what are your thoughts on this trip?
I feel like I haven't really gone on a big trip, and I'm not really into challenges or, point numbers as much as you guys. So I feel like that's a little bit different from my list if you're looking for that on my bookmark list.
Can't be in North Dakota. There's no cache.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
It's the location. So I started with virtuals and webcams because I've only found a handful of both of those. And then, going down Highway 2 in North Dakota, I've gotten most of those until you get to Grand Forks. And there's some Wherigos there, and I've never found one. So I would definitely hit one of those up. I'm going to eventually here.
Right.
And then after I got that far, I was like, wow, this is really overwhelming. There are so many geocaches.
Yes.
So I think a main thing for me, I'd probably just look at pit stops because chances are I would have Sophia with me. And I'd look at Cachely, like I have offline lists, but then I would also use the live list to catch those FTFs. And I'd like to help move trackables. I think those are really fun and take pictures of those. And then another thing I really like to do is go on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, but Instagram's like my favorite.
Right.
And ask people where your geocache is, or do you have favorite geocaches? And so I had a few people tell me their GC codes, and I'd really try to hit those up and, maybe do a Periscope. I've had some people do Periscopes in my geocaches. I think Pathfinder33, he's in the chat room. He's
Charles.
done Charles Watkins.
Yep.
He's done a Periscope a few periscopes of mine, and that's just so cool. Like, it's just one person that it's so neat to see your own geocache.
That's a great idea.
Trust me, guys, in the chat room and listening to the show, if you respond with a cache, she will find it. Because, as people that watch the show know, she'll show up at your doorstep.
Yep. Just knock on your door. Yep. And then, so that'd be...
Yeah, just to break in real fast. And, that's something that is very important. And I really appreciate the way you've put this together, because we got a ton of people listening or in, audio, video, everything, who are in a situation like you. They have kids, or they've got, they may have different types of people they're traveling with. So, I like the way you're kind of putting together the thoughts about this. So, okay, sorry, enough of me. Keep going.
And I know this is like the dream list, because if you have a kid, it might not happen how you want it to, but dream list.
That's
so
good,
then I would do traditionals and letterboxes with high favorite points and close to the road. So there's a lot, though. I don't know.
Oh, I know. But still, that's good thinking.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we'd probably do an overnight, 1 or 2 overnights, and just walk around the hotel, stretch your legs. And then new states.
I love that idea, by the way, for people. That's something that Susan and I will do, is wherever we end up, which I know the first night will be near Little Rock, is get settled in and then start caching in the area. So it's not necessarily, like you said, where you're constantly stopping maybe and getting just a geocache, although I know Zach will probably do that. But but that's a cool idea, though. People need to think about is where you can end up, and then maybe plan around doing some in that little area, because you're going to be there for a little bit. So you could kind of plan maybe a little more about that. Yeah.
I always put in the address of where we're staying. You got to make sure you're at a good hotel, right? So you have a good place to park, and you can eat somewhere and walk around. That's my favorite.
Cool.
And then I'm with, John doesn't like that stopping. He just likes to get there, and then you get your cache as much as you want. But let's just get there. That's the person I'm with.
And for some people, that's their plan. That's what they want to do. They don't want to stop every 30 minutes to grab a cache. That's their plan. That's cool. They might stop maybe major stops and then try to formulate their caching around the major stops. So that's cool.
And then I'd get the new states. My new states, there's a lot, and I'm not good with geography, so I kept looking at the map, but like Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, maybe Michigan. And then at the gig, I'd download like these onto offline lists of like ones I want to walk to, and the lab caches. I've never found any of those. So I'd hopefully someone would offer to go with me or have some good advice on how to do all that stuff. And the donut trail, I know Geocache and Vlogger did that donut trail. If you haven't seen that, that looks like so much fun. Just eat some donuts, but
absolutely. And find caches. Cool. How cool is that?
I'm so jealous. You guys get a chance at doing that. That'll be fun.
Back on the lab caches real fast. The cool thing is with Gigas, and I know Jesse's going to I'm sure he's salivating. For Gigas, we never had a Giga in the U.S., but for a Gigas, you get 30 lab caches.
That's crazy.
I know he's shaking.
That is a lot.
Jesse and I've done
a mega as a noob.
10.
What's a 10? Okay.
Yeah, Jesse and I've done the 10, and we're like, "Are there any more? Can we do any more?" And we're like, "Nope, you're done. That's it."
Yeah, I bet the lines get pretty long. So, lab caches and GeoTrail, gotta plan it out.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of people all in one place. You'll have to time it out.
Yeah. And then on the way back, I'd probably find more. So instead of just, route down, but definitely on the back, I'd try to do some people recommended, maybe other people from North Dakota or who else in the area. They're like, yeah, you need to catch that one on your way back. But there's one in particular. I don't know why this one stood out to me, but it's a mystery. It's called Take a Risk and Foon.
Okay.
I'm not good at the GC. I'm not good at that part. But it's an alphabetical order on the bookmark list.
That's okay. Give me the GC. Give me your best shot at it, and I'll
have to look. GC 1
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty.
A difficult D for difficulty. Okay.
Yep. Virtual.
Right.
Yeah.
He is puzzle and 7.
Cool. Okay.
So
you did better than me.
So that one, there's a container there, but you have to like pose in the foon position. You know, like the Caching the Iron Man. That guy, you know, he has that. Like, I don't know. It just looks really fun.
That's cool.
I like ones where you can take cool pictures. That's just like our whole family can do that. Yeah.
GC1, D is in difficulty, V is in virtual. What was the P? You sure it's P is in puzzle?
Let me double check. Let's see.
Double check it. That's okay. While you're double checking, because that one came up as a different one, so we'll fix that.
Okay.
No problem.
Actually,
I'll type it down.
quick interjection.
Go ahead, Zach.
All of ours are coming from like the northwest or the west or the southwest. Just for our eastern listeners, just want to make sure that everyone knows about WV Tim's caches.
Oh gosh,
as
yeah.
they come across.
Absolutely.
They might want to add another day or two to their trip just to get all those gadget caches.
Yeah, if you're going through West Virginia, you've got to.
My head would explode going through there. That'd be so. I wouldn't even leave. I'd just be like, I'm hanging out.
State because I might need to take like a whole month and just go get all of his.
That's right.
And he'll be at Gigastock too. By the way, you'll get to meet WV Tim.
Just all-star of the community.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. So back to take a risk. Foon in public.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't know. But
Fooning.
Phone. So what is it about this cache that stood out to you?
I'm not quite sure. I was like, what's a foon? So I had to click on it, right?
Mm-hmm. What is a foon? It's
that stance. You look like you're running, but then you freeze. And it's just your outline. And if you go to the cache page and you just look at all the pictures, it's pretty hilarious too.
That's very cool.
So it's something different.
Yeah, rules for the foon pose. In case you're wondering, I had no idea. Stand sideways to the camera. A foon is always viewed from the side. Bend your arms at the elbows. Look like an athletic runner, not a ballerina. Lift your rear elbow, not your hand, so that it is easy to see behind your back.
So it's like the bent.
Right. Lean forward at the waist. This will help you look more energetic and will help you lift your rear ankle. Bend at the knee, the leg you're standing on. When possible, do not look at the camera and do not smile. Either arm can be the rear arm. Either leg can be the rear leg. Oh my gosh. So,
that is awesome. I would definitely stop by that one.
Mm-hmm. And then you take a picture and you share it with us. That's what I think would be cool. So,
oh my gosh, that's crazy. I like it.
That would be a good idea for something we could do for our Instagram. Is I could hide a cache out here that when people find it, they have an option of sharing a photo, and we could share it on our Instagram of people in a weird pose.
That'd be great.
I'll hide one here too, then, because I love that idea.
I should put a microphone in it, and they can like just be holding the microphone and acting like they're on the Geocache.
Geocache Talk show. There you go. Very cool. So, Susan came in. Wait, hang on. Let me move the camera real fast. All right, there you go. There's Susan.
No, she's posing.
There you go. That's right there. So, way to go, Susan. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Came all the way down to Foon for us. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So, all right, good deal. All right, I'm trying to get my camera back. Okay. Oh my gosh, we've had a great night. We're kind of getting out of time. So, quick note. I talked to Chris Williamson. He's going to be at Gigastock. If you want to know the information about Treasure, they're showing it on Thursday night and Friday late morning. Thursday night at 7 p.m., Friday at 10 a.m. At the River Hills Christian Church. I've got the address in the show notes. And if you've never seen it, or if you've seen it on your Blu-ray, that's cool on its own, but yet it's very cool if you get to see it with a crowd. and see it in, as a group. So that's my suggestion. Oh, and
There's the poster right there.
Zach's got one of the posters, kind of like I got behind me there. So,
Signed copy.
Signed copy.
That's right.
So, so definitely check out. There's so much to do at Gigastock. I mean, you guys, I know Zach and I are trying to weed through all the things that are available and try to figure out all the. I mean, it's just a swamped with a lot of stuff. But take some time, figure out what you want to do, and all that. So I think we're all, even though some of us can't go, but I think we're all looking forward to the fact that we've got a Giga here in the U.S. and take some time and give some thought as to what you want to do. And if you don't do, we've talked about this before on the show, but if your plan doesn't go exact, that's okay. It happens. My last little note, and I'm going to get to Jesse. He's got some things he wants to mention, but if you can, I'm sure people have done this, but are already planning this, but try to go back a different route. I mean, you don't have to. You can kind of plan your own route, but we're going back a different route because we want to catch different caches, and we want to catch some different states by doing that. I'm sure if you can, obviously that's something to do. So anyway, Jesse, you had some comments you want to make?
Yeah, so kind of related and not related, but so I think I'm the only one that's not going. But
no,
I'm not going either.
Oh, you're not going? Oh, I thought you were.
No, graduation, same reason.
Oh, yeah, same with me. So even though I'm not going, and I've joked about it a lot, I really hope it turns out to be an awesome event. I hope it's big and huge, and it continues on, and it's not the one-off Giga for America. I hope it's great, and it sounds like with all the stuff going on, it's going to be a really cool event and tons of stuff around, and you really need like a week to really scratch the surface of all the stuff that's there.
Right.
But and I'm looking forward to seeing all the pictures and the social media stuff and everything else that comes out of it. So I think it's gonna be really good. But so much so, and to prove that I'm not bitter,
right.
Now I'll be on Geo Gearheads this week. So May 10th, if anybody listens to that podcast too, it's live, and we're talking about attending megas and gigas. So
sweet.
Obviously, the Giga part is theoretical for me, but I've been to a bunch of megas, so they're fun. And I suspect with the big group of everybody that we have and kind of the Geocache Talk family, we'll see so many pictures and all the stuff that it's going to be. I mean, so much information is going to be out there. And then one more thing. So I'm not going like Angie apparently too. I'm not going. I'm going to graduation, but right after that, we are going on vacation, and graduation just happens to be at the exact same time as the Giga. So, oh well, family stuff comes first always.
Yep, absolutely.
But we're traveling, and kind of like we always talk about on the show, I'm going to be in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. And on the 29th, we're doing a donut event, and I'm already going to get to meet some people from the area and an RVer that's coming through. So that's going to be awesome. Like a donut event early in the morning. And I'm trying to put together, there's a 5-5 trail of kayaking caches.
Right.
Along a river there. So I'm trying to put together a CETO for anybody on that Saturday. So I'm gonna host that event soon. So I'm gonna host two events while I'm on vacation. One being a kayaking CETO and the other one being just a donut event. So
the donut event will be on 5/29.
Yep, and 6/2 for the CETO.
6/2 for the CETO. Do you don't have GC codes yet, do you?
No, but I'll put them in the notes. I actually have one of them. One of them's already live. The other one's not live yet.
Okay, that's fine.
But anybody that can't make it and that is going to be on that end of the country, come hang out. So
definitely. We'll definitely post those and make sure people know about those. So hey,
Jesse. Yeah. I think you owe me a donut for not making fun of you and for not being able to come.
I know. It's almost the event. Y'all got to lay off me at some point.
We got to.
I didn't say anything because honestly, I'm really happy that your daughter's graduating and you get to go to that, but it won't be the same without you there, and I hope you know that.
Well, thanks.
And Angie too, and it was great meeting you, and I feel like I'll be able to see her because she's in North Dakota, and I'll be making some runs up there before too long. But with you and Gary, it's always nice anytime we can meet up. And Memphis and I have some working in the some trips in the plans, and I'm excited to see Gary again at the Giga. But we made it a whole show without ribbing you too much.
That's okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
Yeah, he'll make the next one for sure.
But and other than that, I hope everybody that's going to listen to this has a lot of fun. Seriously.
Yeah, well, we agree. Come see us. I'll be at all the podcasters that are going to be there. We have a table together. All the vloggers will have they have tables together as well. So definitely come check out the media. Keith Petrus, our buddy, FTF Magazine, will also be in that same media area. So don't miss coming by and seeing us at the media area. The podcasters are all getting together. We have a couple giveaways. One's at 11 a.m. and another one's at 3 p.m. So there's a ton of stuff the vloggers are planning as well. So definitely check on their schedule. They've got some giveaways. They've put together some really cool swag bags that they're giving out. So definitely don't miss those. Come by and see us. Say hi. Tell us about see Zachary. Tell us about what you enjoy about the show and about his vlog and just about the whole Geocache Talk network and everything we're doing. So, all right. Last word. Anyone want to say anything?
I just want to say I'm excited to see. I can't wait to see. There's going to be so many people, obviously, at the Giga, but it'll be my first big event heading east, and so there's going to be a lot of new faces that I'm familiar with in the chat room or social media that it'll just be great to meet up with and catch up with and kind of hear their stories. And I'm excited just to hear. Every time you get together, you seem to hear about like legendary caches from different areas, and I can't wait to add those to my list. Share stories and experiences, and this is our first Giga. It sounds like the people that are hosting it are gonna put on kind of the mother of all Gigas. Just they're gonna knock it out of the park. And I know we talk about this as the only guaranteed Giga in U.S. history. Yeah, but just the way things have been ramping up, the way people are talking about it, the amount of preparation and time put into it. For those that aren't going, I would hope that at least with the energy that comes off this, maybe it can't be a yearly Giga thing, but 2020 is the 20th year of geocaching.
It's true.
And I wouldn't be surprised if geocachers pull together enough, and I'm already making plans that I don't know what I'm doing in May of 2020. Right. But I've already told Maggie, we'll probably be married at that point, so we're going to be heading to all I have is one suggestion. Can we take a trip to the Pacific Northwest in 2020?
Yeah.
So I would hope they could get that to Giga status for those that can't make this one. But for those that can, we're going to have a blast. We're going to have so much fun.
It's going to be great. So looking forward to it. Get to see so many people, and it's just going to be great. So Zach and I will report back every time we can for everyone. And, again, just, if you have any other suggestions, let us know, send us an email, and I'll be giving the email here in a second. So coming up on the show next Sunday night, we do have on Matthew Janiak, the one that we talked about earlier tonight, who gave us the suggestion. He's got the great, the great name, the Geo Monkey Tiger. So, so we're gonna make him say it like that. So, Geo Monkey Tiger is gonna be on the show. He's gonna talk about the Georgia Geocaching Association weekly challenges, and we're gonna get some ideas from him, and I think it's gonna be fun talking to him about the challenges that they're doing, and maybe what some ideas for everyone in different parts of the world and what they might be able to do for their own geocaching associations. And then in 2 weeks, Hindle will be back on the show. He's our buddy from Germany. He's already got some good info in the show notes. We've been talking back and forth about some things, so he's really excited about that show. And then in 3 weeks, show number 100. And so we're looking forward to that. So Jesse, show 100. Can you believe it?
That's a lot of shows.
It's a lot of shows. Yep. We'll be in the triple digits, so we're looking forward to that night. We'll have
we'll
on
be hitting 200 in no time.
Yeah, we'll be there in no time. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. Have some special guests on that night. Should be a great show, a lot of fun. So definitely looking forward to that.
You'll be doing that from like a hotel room or something, won't you?
Yep, I'll be doing that from Tennessee.
So we'll have you'll see a fresh sparkle in our eye from the event, I'm sure.
That's right. Yep,
that's right.
Zach's going to join. Angie's going to pop on that show as well. So we're going to have our next time with all 4 of us back on. Won't be too long in the future, and we're going to have some other people who we're going to have on. But yeah, it's going to be the Sunday right after Geowoodstock. So looking forward to that show. It'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your comments. geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at geocachetalk, at Gary Slinkard is mine. And again, we're big on Instagram. Geocache Talk is one of ours, and Jesse's got his fired up and running. I know she's posting a lot on there, Jesse. I really appreciate that on Memphis Mafia on Instagram. So that's been wonderful keeping up with that. And
really
our Facebook.
I'm newer to Instagram. There's really some great pictures, like Angie said, that it's just all great pictures of caches. So it's hard to go against Instagram.
Absolutely. So always looking for tips also on what to do. So Angie's been really helping us out to keep us on track with our Instagram. But definitely, if you're not if you're on Instagram, follow us. Again, Geocache Talk or Memphis Mafia, and Geocaching Janji. Is it all? You have it all the same? Do you
Geojanji?
Geojanji on Instagram, and I think Zach's is Sodak Zach. All your stuff's Sodak Zach, right?
Yep, everything's Sodak Zach, and just letting people know that in the next day or so, I'll be dropping my next video on the YouTube channel.
Oh, cool!
So look for that on Sodak Zach YouTube channel or the Geocache Talk website.
Yep. He's posting those out for us and also on his. So yeah, check those out. That's awesome. So really appreciative of the whole network coming together the way that it does. So we're very appreciative, Jesse and I, of you guys. So we're really appreciative. So so don't forget to click on the subscribe button so you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis, and tell your friends about the show. And again, until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. You need to go geocaching. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.